actually calling in from today?
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we are going to go ahead and kick it off. And so, hi everybody. I know most of you, but some of you I do not know yet, and I am delighted to be meeting you today. And I am here with my fabulous friend, Sammy Blindell, who's joining us from across the pond. Yes, 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 it's so wonderful. And
lots of kisses.
Hugs and kisses all around. And you know what happened was Sammy and I were talking this weekend and we were catching up. We just came back from an amazing trip to Ecuador with Changemakers and Awakening Giants. And we've got a few of our Awakening Giants friends on the line today. And we were just sharing what we've been hearing and some experiencing ourselves and hearing from our clients as to what they're going through. And there's a lot that happens right at the first of the year. And the truth of the matter is now is the time to get all those pieces in motion. So we decided to come together and invite you to join us in this conversation today about your vision for 2018, your visibility, and all from the perspective, and this is really near and dear to my heart, is creating an aligned, impact-driven, making a difference, adding value, and prosperous 2018. Like, I know that the more in alignment I am with my values, with what I really love, the more everything else unfolds. And it's only when I get kind of out of sync with my own values, my alignment, what I really want, that things get stuck. So today we want to, share with you what we've been able to do to both of us build some global brands all over the world, making a difference, making impact, and making lots of money, right? It all goes together, right, when we're in flow. So Sammy, share a little bit about yourself because many of my people don't know you yet.
Nancy, I just lost you for a moment there.
Okay.
I just lost you.
I hear you now. So my request was to introduce yourself because many of my friends don't know you yet.
My pleasure. Hello. Well, I'm Sammy Blindell. I'm live here from Manchester in England. I do a lot of traveling and I've met some of you face to face. It's been awesome. I've actually had a massive, great big hug from some of you. And I hope that I'm going to get one of those, a big hug, when I come over in January. And like Nancy, I really have found out the hard way. Somebody's coughing there. Wally. Wally. Oh, God bless you. Yeah, like Nancy, I've learned a lot of things the hard way. This is my 7th company that I've built now. And this business, I've learned more lessons growing a global company than I did with the previous businesses that I built before. What's interesting is that I was able to take a lot of those lessons from those previous businesses and bring them into this one. So what took me 7 years to build one of those companies locally, I was able to build this company into 24 countries within 18 months, using the skills that I learned last time and the time before that. So Nancy and I were just chatting. We were saying, how can we bring what we collectively know to you so that you don't have to make those mistakes that we've gone through and we've made, and we can give you some of those strategies, those tools and things. So well done for making time today, because this is last minute. Absolutely, like, put everything else off, get yourselves here, and we really appreciate that you've been able to do that. And yeah, we're going to make this an absolutely phenomenal hour of power for you. Nancy!
Yes, so excited to be here. And I want to share that I see we've got some questions in the queue. I see Pat Price is asking how she brands herself. So what we'd love to do is kind of lay a foundation, and then we'll get into answering some questions. And part of the reason for that is the process that we want to share with you today is a process that allows those answers to appear with greater clarity and with greater alignment, not only to you and what you want to bring to the world, but in alignment with what people need to hear from you. Like, what is that visibility? What is that messaging that's going to have people say, yes, I want to do business with Pat? So that's what we're going to be sharing with you today. So Sammy, let's kind of talk a little bit about what we were discussing the other day and some of the common challenges and that we're hearing people talk about. So go ahead and share some of those that you've been hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a lot of challenges that I'm hearing all the time. We have, on average, 35 to 40,000 entrepreneurs that we're in contact with every week through our social media channels. So we get a lot of questions. We get a lot of sometimes heartache, you know, when you're a small business and you're going through things on your own, and it can be lonely and the hard way is inevitable, and you go through some pain, and sometimes it's just nice to have someone to reach out to. So we are that community. We make sure that we are there to really hold those questions. And some of the biggest things that we get coming across, and do please in the chat box, if something I say resonates with you, if you have this going on for you, or if it's somebody that you know as well, just put yes in the chat box, or put your specific what you've related to that. So for example, in the last couple of weeks, all the questions that I've had are really around, I didn't achieve everything that I set out to do this year. So if that's you, you're not alone. We must have had at least 12,000 entrepreneurs over this last month that have sent in, how do I make sure that 2018 is the best year for me, because I didn't achieve what I set out to this year. And there's a number of reasons for that, obviously, that sit behind it, but that's one of the biggest things that we've had. Some of the other things I attracted some great customers this year, and I made some good money, but I haven't been able to do this consistently well in a way that I've got predictable income every month. Again, if that really resonates with you, just say, yes, that's me. Put that in the chat box, because that's really what we're here to do. And I want to put it out there, this really is a safe environment. This is an environment that we've put in place for you so that you can share this. And the only way to really take those steps and be able to move forward is to recognize where you've come from, so that we know what the gap is and can take you to that next level. Another one, I've attracted lots of customers, but they're not really the customers that I want. Is that you? Have you attracted someone that maybe they didn't resonate with you, or they didn't have the same values? We're going to cover some of that tonight. Also, I'm busy working all the time, but I don't have the money in the bank to show for it. Is that you? I'm getting lots of people saying this. You know, I'm working 12, 13, 15, 18 hours a day, yet my bank account isn't reflective of the amount of work that I'm doing. There's lots of other questions about outsourcing. You know, I need to know how to outsource in or expanding my team, but I find it really difficult to trust others to do the job that I know I can do myself. Is that you? And you're thinking, you know what? I am doing all of this myself, and I would love to get other people in here to do it, but I know they're not going to do it as well as I can. I can do it faster. I can do it more effective. That's definitely something that I went through in my last business, and it really hindered my growth. So, you know, we can talk about some of that as well. We have lots of questions about self-belief as well, actually.
Yeah.
Am I doing the right things in the right order? I don't know if I'm building the right business for the life that I want. There's another one around competitors that I get quite a lot as well. And Nancy, you maybe get this too. I have a lot of competitors and find myself getting into conversations with potential customers that end up with me dropping my price so that I can encourage them to say yes. So again, share in the chat box if this is you. If you're finding that you're having conversations with customers, and instead of that conversation going to a conversion, you're having to really almost like talk them into the process, or they're comparing you against somebody else, then there's that element of you being a commodity purchase in there, and that's something else that we can touch on. But Nancy, they're just some of the questions that come in, and I think one of the biggest ones is, I want to grow my business, but I'm so busy delivering the products and services that I already have that I can't afford to take the time out to work on it. So I can see that there's lots of yeses, and yes, that's me. Why does rebranding take so long? Great question, Suraj. And that there's a lot of things in here. You know, we might not get a chance to answer all of them, but it's great that you've given us some really clear information that tells us how we can support you more and tailor what we're doing in this this hour-long training for you. Nancy.
Yeah. So the same things that you just shared are the things that I hear over and over and over again. And for me, as I listen to those challenges, it boils down to a couple of key indicators and mindset foundations that you want to have in place. So the first is, when you get to a place that you're finding yourself in a conversation with a customer and what you believe is the only way I'm going to get this customer is if I lower my price, that mindset will never set you free, and it will keep you, as Sammy said, a commodity or a transactional relationship. And, you know, I remember when I was in the mortgage business and I would talk to a prospective client and quote them an interest rate of 4.2%. And then I thought I had the deal, and they went with somebody else because it was 4.1. Now, that's transactional. That was not relational. I since learned how to build relationships with people. And it's always about, so if you find yourself in that position, you gotta be confident enough to stand your ground. And if there's someone who only wants to buy based on price, you gotta be willing to also let them go, right? So you've probably experienced that.
Oh gosh. The other thing is that to think about when you cheapen what you do, it helps somebody else. And I say help because you don't get paid for help, right? You get help, you get paid for service. So what it does is it helps them to have that conversation, which really will drill you down. Yeah. I remember when I first moved to France 4 years ago. I've just moved back to England. When I moved out to France, I needed a washing machine. And I went to 3 different stores. I found the washing machine that I really wanted. And the first thing I did was Google it. Where can I find this cheaper? And I Googled it. I found it a lot cheaper on a website. And in that store, in front of that washing machine, I ordered it there and then. What could have been different was the guy that was looking at me that could see I was clearly Googling it could have made my experience very different. And that's really what it comes down to, is the experience. Had he come over to me and said, look, do you know what? I know you're Googling this and I know why you'd be Googling it too, but let me tell you some of the reasons why when you buy it from here, you're going to really enjoy the fact that you got it from here. And here's why. And he could have made that experience very different. And that's not necessarily just an offline thing. That's an online thing too. And if anything, it becomes even more important when you're having those conversations with people online and you're not physically there. What are some of the things you can do to add value so they can't find that anywhere else? They look somewhere else and they go, yeah, but if I get it there, then yeah, I'm not going to get that or that or that. So I'm a big fan of adding bonuses rather than dropping prices. Nancy, you're probably the same.
Absolutely, we're the same. And that's one of the reasons we ended up joining forces today, is as we were talking over the weekend, it was like, yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. So know that what we're sharing with you today are proven principles. And I really want to caution you against what I refer to as an already always way of thinking, where you go, oh, I already know that, or I don't already know that. Maybe you know that, but maybe you haven't really fully integrated it into your business and into your practices. So I invite you to have an open mind today, because the more Sammy and I talked, and we've both read lots of books and been to lots of seminars, there's tons out there, and then when you get in, this is the what works. That's what we're sharing with you today. So have an open mind and look at and listen for what we're sharing today with fresh eyes and fresh ears, as it were. So one of the things for us to kick off and get started, and on the play sheet, I invited you to cast your vision for 2018. And that comes under, what do you really want? What do you really want to have? If you could have it all, if you did not let it, challenges and perceived obstacles stop you from having it the way you want it, what would your business and your life look like? You know, this past year, a year ago, December, I wrote down that I wanted to take my family on family vacations, and I ended up being able to take my entire family on a cruise, take them away for Christmas, and go to Europe with my daughter, all inside of 12 months. I had never had that freedom in my life before. And what I was able to do was use what Sammy and I are going to be sharing today and what we share in our workshops, how you can set systems up so that the money flows while you're out playing, right? Isn't that what we want? So,
oh, yes.
Yeah, so we did a 10-day trip to Ecuador, and I didn't even mention that in the mix. And the money flows and the business grows while we are traveling around the world. How many of you would like that kind of life? Okay, I see hands going up. Yes, 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 right? So what do you really want? And Sammy, do you want to add anything to that, or should I just go ahead and share my slides?
No, you've absolutely said it beautifully, as always.
Thank you, love. All right, and hopefully I'll get this correct on the slides. So I'm going to do from beginning. Let's see if this is working. All right, you see the big dream big on your screen now, right? Give me a yes, yes, yes if that's correct.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, good. Me, please. Gail wants to travel. Barbara wants to travel. Donna, Laura, yes. You know,
Come travel with us. We are going to places all around the world.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. You know, so this dream big. The first thing I want you to do is give yourself permission. So many times in life, what happens is we start to dream and then we go, oh, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. I start to, oh, no, I don't know how I'm going to do it. So give yourself permission. Like, what if you could have it all? So I want to invite you to dream big and just go for it in the biggest of ways. So dream big. I love this statement that says, they say I dream too big. And I say, well, you're thinking too small. And that's the challenge. Many of you, as you start to dream big, you're actually sharing your big dreams with small-minded people. Get that? Sharing your big dreams with small-minded people. It's like trying to teach calculus to somebody who can't add. You're here, you're exercising your dream muscle, and that's what happens. The more you exercise it, the more your dreams are realized, the more you can dream bigger and bigger and bigger. So congratulations, and I honor you for being courageous enough to dream big. And if there are small-minded people around you, it's not their fault, but they're not the ones you want to share your dream with. You want to share your dreams here. So,
Nancy, can I say something as well at that point?
Please, go.
Guys, those of you that haven't got your mute on, if you could put your mute on, I can hear a little bit of background stuff going on. I remember this was only about 5 years ago. I remember sitting in a boardroom and I was paying to be a part of a mentoring group. And there were 6 other key directors in business. Now, I had a multi-million pound at that time business, and so did they. You know, we weren't playing small, we were big businesses. And I remember coming back from a seminar, having seen somebody that talks just like this, thinking, well, they can do it. Surely I can do it. And at that time, and Sandra, I want to say this for you more than anything, because I've just seen what you've put in the chat box, is that at the time, you know, I built a business where I didn't have any intellectual property. I hadn't created books. I didn't have products. Everything I sold was a service. So I was exchanging time for money, which meant that I couldn't travel. I couldn't leave my business. I had £23,500 worth of fixed costs before I even took any money home. I had staff. I had all these limitations. I couldn't go on holiday because my phone constantly rang, so it wasn't worth me going. There were all these restrictions that I had, and I just thought, what am I going to do? I need to do something. So I went on a quest to find out what these other people were doing. And I came back and I sat in that board meeting and I said to them, do you know what? I've been earning money for other people for too long. It's my time now. I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to sell my company and I'm going to go out and do this. And they thought I was completely mad, that I was going to go from a really awesome business, that I was making a hell of a lot of money, the house, the cars, everything, the cash, everything. I was not happy. I wasn't fulfilled. I would rather have had nothing and be fulfilled than to continue feeling like I was wasting my life making money for someone else. So I went on a mission, and they thought I was all crazy, and they were doing exactly what Nancy is talking about here. I was dreaming too big, and they were thinking too small. And they were just saying, you're crazy, keep your business, don't go and do that, because they didn't understand what I was about to do. And you're going to get people around you that do that too. They're not going to understand why this is important to you. They're not going to get the fact that you're freaking bonkers. We all are. Join the club. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
But they're gonna say, oh, why would you want to do that? And oh, it's not possible. Oh, well, it didn't work for you last time. Why would it work this time? And you might get some small-mindedness that creeps in. But I can tell you 3 years later, I was unfortunately at the funeral of a friend who we all knew. And I'd grown my multinational business. And they were then saying to me, Sammy, how have you done it? I thought, oh, now you want to know. And they were the ones that they would have held me back. And if I had listened to them, my mind would have been kept shut, and I wouldn't have opened that parachute. So Sandra, from my heart to yours, I really hope that you appreciate and understand that you can do this. And it doesn't matter if you haven't got anything yet. The whole point of this is to start dreaming big, and you've got everyone around you that will support you to do that. And that's the most important thing, is surrounding yourself with those minds that believe you. That will make you resilient. That will make your dream come true.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for Sandra and anybody else who's feeling that, I don't have services, I don't have product that I've created, know that the path will open up. And it begins by you giving yourself permission to dream again and stepping out and giving yourself this space. So here's what I would invite you to do, is remember that success occurs when your dreams are bigger than your excuses and your reasons. And forgive me, it looks like the lawn people decided to come, so hopefully that's not too distracting. I apologize. So, of course, they usually come on Wednesdays. What can I tell you? So, and that's life, right? I could get all frazzled and freaked out because now it's not going to be perfect. That's one of the keys. It's when these bumps in the road show up, you just deal with it. We have to deal with what emerges rather than focus on, oh my God, no, it's not perfect. Ah! And that's when you get stuck in a problem, you can't see the solutions, right? So success is when your dreams are bigger than your excuses and your reasons. So in this next piece, I really want you to open up the hatchet and let yourself dream big and think about, what do you really want? And when we do this, we're talking about all the areas of your life, not just the money. What kind of legacy? What are your personal goals? What career goals do you have? What's your health and fitness, your fun time, playtime, other things you want to do? Because what happens, and Sammy, you know this too, and I didn't even know you had that same story about building this multi-million-dollar business and then finding yourself, I was a multi-millionaire in the bank, but my soul felt bankrupt. And it's right? That's what you described. I went through the same thing. And I just had to stop and say, what do I really want? What matters to me? So this sheet, go ahead and write down these areas. And what I want you to do, if you've got something that comes to mind right now, jot it down. What do you want for your life? What's that career look like? Like this next year, I've set an intention that I will be speaking 12 times on the one philosophy to brand new audiences I've never been with before, and it will yield me $100,000 in revenue just from that. My personal goals, I'm going to be working out. I recently got my health and fitness. Now I want to work out, and I'm going to learn to play the ukulele that I bought 2 months ago. I mean, whatever it is.
You play it, I'll sing to it, and then you sing it, and I'll have a go at playing it.
Okay, that works. That's right. And I picked a ukulele so I can travel with it as well. Yeah, so what do you want your relationships to be? And relationships is not only your intimate relationships. Do you have time for friends, family, new relationships you want to cultivate, set those financial goals, create passive continuing revenue coming in. Put all those pieces of the puzzle together, and here's what I can promise you. So we're talking about creating a life that's in alignment, that has harmony to it, because all sides of you are being fulfilled and sourced. You know, I love what I do so much, I could do it all the time. But when I do that, I find myself out of balance. I feel tired. I feel exhausted. These other areas of my life with health and fitness and relationships and fun, that keeps me in flow. And I see too many entrepreneurs who are working those 15, 18-hour days. And what you don't realize is by not making time for the things that bring you joy in a variety of ways, you're less effective than you would be if you took the time off. How do you deal with that one? Because I get that a lot from people.
I hear that a lot and have that a lot. And I think, well, Nancy, as you know, when and I'm quite happy to share this, in that when I got to Ecuador, one of the things that several things I'd done really well was build businesses. And I think it's very easy to distract yourself when something in your life isn't necessarily going as well as you want it to. You put your focus on something else, and then everything else gets out of balance. And what I got out of balance was I threw myself into business, and I was creating brand babies. Right? I was birthing lots of brands and supporting other people to build their brands. But really, what I wanted was a relationship. I wanted my own babies. I wanted to be part of something greater than me. But that part was out of balance. And when I was in Ecuador, it was great to really be around other people that said, you know what, we've all grown big businesses as well. And there are elements where we're working on these things too. And that really inspired me, because when you get to the top of where you're going, there's always another level. And what's brilliant is you're surrounded by other people and you say, hang on, what, you've got the same problems as well? And you're looking at these business owners, I know that I have in the past, I've looked at them with my imposter syndrome hat on and thought, oh my God, how do they balance it all? How do they have it all? Well, the real answer is they have to work as hard at it as you and I. And Nancy, did you find that while we were away? I mean, I was really humbled by the fact that other people had exactly the same challenges at this whole balancing thing.
Absolutely. And what's great about our trip and being with those leaders and being here with you all today is the transparency that the same things you feel, those questions and those challenges that we shared at the top of this class, we feel them too. We just don't let them stop us. We just find a way through. And it comes down to, and this is a good time for me to share this, is that oftentimes we are so good at focusing on what we don't want as opposed to what we do want, right? And this has been something I've really been practicing and very observant of over the past 6 months, and I'm getting really good at this now too, is the minute I notice myself focusing on what I don't want, I go, oh, and that comes in the form of complaining and bitching and moaning, right? I can't believe this person didn't show up on time, and this person didn't do that, and well, I can't believe blah, 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 right? That's what that looks like when we're focusing on what we don't want, or I don't have enough money to take a trip, or I can't do this. That's what I don't want. It's the key is to shift, to notice when that happens and shift. Oh, look, isn't that fun? I'm focusing on what I don't want. What do I want? And that contrast is designed to create the clarity to state what you want. The key
I got a real kick in the pants around that. In February this year, I was out in LA with Bob Doyle from The Secret. I was with Bob and Lynn, and he's got this whole virtual suite in his apartment. He loves his virtual reality. So he says, come on over, we'll have cake, and he did a barbecue and stuff. And he goes, come on, we're going to do virtual reality. So we go into his virtual reality suite, and he puts these goggles on me, and Greg, my husband, had told him that I like roller coasters. Well, I might have done when I was 9 years old. So he puts this thing, and I'm looking at these 3 roller coasters, and I look, and he goes, right, so look at the green one. So what do? I look at the red one. I'm like, holy fuckadoodles, I do not want that one. And what happens? I looked at it too long. It selects it, and I end up going on this horrendous journey that Barbara was there. She had to do healing on me. She was getting peppermint oil and rubbing it under my nose. I felt so sick. I took the thing off. Bob says to me, see, what you focus on long enough, you get.
Wow, that was right in your face. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So this is really key, my friends, is when you are casting your vision for what you really want, your brain is in the habit of saying, I want to be debt-free. Well, that's actually a negative. I don't want debt. So instead, I want to have sound financial leverage investments. I want $100,000 in the bank liquid. Stated in the positive of what you do want. Relationships, I want my husband to not fight with me. No, what you want is great communication and laughter and love with your husband. Health and fitness, I don't want my pants to feel tight. No, what do you want? And this is so important, this one little shift. And again, you may think I've heard this before, and you probably have. But my question is, are you really practicing it? Because when you make this switch, that's when your life changes. So jot these things down now, have fun with it and play with it. Dream big and give yourself permission. So once you have your vision in place, obviously one of the mistakes we've heard before is the movie The Secret told everybody the law of attraction works, just sit home and everything will be delivered to you. No, not quite. So what we're sharing now is a 3-step process. And again, we were so well matched. I shared my 3-step process, she shared hers, and they're the same. Slightly different, shift in the verbiage and the language, which is perfect for all of you. So once you know what you want, then you're going to get up and you're going to head out in your day. And the first step is to create an intention. What do you intend? Do you intend that your goal that you're working towards, and an intention carries more feeling of creation than simply a goal. A goal is like an achievement. An intention has a feeling behind it. How does it feel so this year I am very clear, Women's Prosperity Network, our intention is to serve 100,000 members. It's a big leap. 100,000 members. It's a big leap. So I take all of the actions and the efforts with that intention in mind. It's to serve 100,000 members. And this ties to vision. So go ahead, Sammy.
Yes, and that is so fundamental, is that once you've set that intention, is that you really know what that vision is for where your brand is going to land. So when you think about your brand and your business, and let's just get this clear, because sometimes it's not necessarily clear about the difference between brand and branding. So let's think about your brand is your trust, and your branding is your trust mark. So when I use the word brand, I'm talking about reputation. I'm talking about how you resonate with your ideal customers. I'm talking about how you nurture them. I'm talking about how other people talk about you when you're not there. Your brand is what other people say it is when you're not there. So how do you want your brand to expand? Not your logo. How do you want your business to expand? So really think about, where is it that you want your business and your brand to take you? And I would say the biggest mistake I made in my previous 6 businesses before this one was that I got so focused on growing the business for the customer that I forgot what I wanted in the process. So with this business, I really focused on what life is it that I want? I did this exact thing that Nancy's doing with you right now. What is it that I want in all these different areas of my life? And once I knew what that was, I thought, how can I create a business that really serves that. And I got very clear about my vision. I wasn't going to be able to build the same consultancy-based business I'd built before if I was going to be able to travel, live anywhere in the world. I wanted to move to France. I wanted to find the love of my life. I wanted children. I wanted all of these things that had nothing to do with work. But I needed money, and I needed to be able to create something that really served my life while I was busy serving others. And so really focus on your vision. In fact, Leisha and Elisa, we've done vision work just in the last week or so, is to really think about what is it you're building and who are you building it for? What are you building and who are you building it for? So my vision for how to build a brand was to build the world's largest and most valuable brand building resource for entrepreneurs of fast growth businesses. Now that vision changed after about, I'd say about 12, 13 months of building the world's largest and most valuable brand building resource. My vision changed to, instead of providing that for fast growth businesses, it became purpose-driven businesses. Because I realized that while I was starting to attract fast growth businesses, they were caring more about cash and conversion than they were about the relationships and the legacy. And that's really where I care passionately about community and building that, as Nancy calls it, a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a family.
Yeah, community.
So I changed that. So, don't think that just because you create it now, that it's set in stone. Yeah, you want it to be as right as it can be. But as I've heard before, perfection is poverty. So really just get it clear as you can, and just go for it, because yes, it might evolve. You're going to bloody evolve as you grow this thing. You're going to evolve as part of this. And Nancy and I were talking the other day. I was saying, oh my gosh, I've built this and I've evolved so much. I'm now thinking about what my next step is. So, and that's okay, because your life is going to evolve as you evolve others' lives. Yours is going to evolve with it. So just get focused for now on what is it you're building and who are you building it for. And you could write that in the chat box or send it in to us, like tent sellers on Facebook, or, we're in several groups and we're all partying together somewhere. So share with us, let us know what that is, because if we can support you in making that vision become a reality, we absolutely will. And it might need a few tweaks of those words. Yeah. But usually I would say a good vision will be around 10 to 15 words. It should be something that's memorable, something that you can repeat, something that someone else could repeat even when you're not there, and something that gets you really freaking juiced, something that really, really inspires you and sticks a fire up your backside. I mean, it is like you get really excited about this and you become it, you step into it. So that's really the vision, and that's why that's so important. You don't have that, then you're just going to kind of be a tumbleweed, tumbling through, living someone life.
Yep, so that was excellent, and I see lots of people in the chat. So perfection is poverty is what Sammy had said. That was really good. And one of the things, I'm going to go back to Pat's question, because she is in supplemental insurance services. So her brand is about her and her voice. So what's that difference you want to make? What's that impact? So for Pat, we really want to get clear on how you want to show up, because there's lots of people that have that product, right? So who is Pat? Why is Pat doing this? And we'll talk way more about that too. So we'll get into all of that. And so with the intention set on your vision, the next place, and this process that I'm sharing with you is what you will practice and experience every single day to cause the vision to become a reality. So when you have your vision of who you want to serve and how you want to serve those customers, and you want it to feel good to you. So if your business is not making you feel good, we got to switch that around. And that comes down to, what are your values? What's important to you? So set your intention and then feel good. Step into that space of what it's like when you have 100,000 members, what it's like when you have the world's largest brand building and most valuable resource. What does that feel like? I know you're not there yet, and this is where creative visualization comes into play. So we know basketball players, football players, that stars, the most accomplished, successful people use the practice of visualization to bring their dreams to life. So set your intention, then lock in on the feeling of it. How does it feel when you've accomplished this, when it is the reality? Because that will cause your experience. And one of the statements, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Abraham Hicks, the law of attraction and Abraham Hicks. One of my guiding affirmations these days is, I am in vibrational alignment with everything I wish to experience. I am in vibrational alignment with everything I wish to experience. Because if I'm in alignment with everything I wish to experience, I won't experience anything outside of it. Again, what do you really want if it was possible? Because we do get to choose. And it starts by controlling this and guiding, letting our heart really guide us to the direction we want to go in. Sammy?
Yeah, and that then leads on to the values you do that with, because, you know, oh gosh, one of my businesses, I'd kind of built the first 3 by accident, not by design, and learned a hell of a lot the hard way.
Did that too.
Right. And when I built my 4th company, it was with someone else. So they had a business, I had a business, and we brought those together. And instead of me going into their business or them coming into mine, we decided to launch our first business together. And it was really interesting. One of the things that our business coach at the time spoke to us about was about, you know, when you bring these 2 companies together, you've both got a culture that you've created with the customers that you have already. So how are you really going to align that when you bring that together? How are you going to make sure that you don't lose anyone in the process? And fortunately, I had a lot of experience in that area for other people's businesses, so I was able to then do that on our own. And it really comes down to values. And what we did was we totally nailed what the values of the business were. Now, it really depends on what kind of business you're building. And I mean, I talk a lot about this. We go into exactly what kind of brand, how many brands are you building on our one-day event. But, you know, right here, right now, you can get the basics of it right. Is to really think about, you know, if you're building a personal brand and it's just you and the business is going to live, breathe and die with you, then the values can be yours. But if you're building something that is greater than yourself, if you're building a legacy, if you're creating something that's going to be around a lot longer than you, that other people potentially need to sit underneath that, you might be franchising, you might be creating a network marketing business, you might just be building a legacy where you'll have other coaches coming in and delivering your products and services. The list goes on. This is quite a big topic. Then that means that you need to create the values of the business, not yourself, because someone else is going to come in and be part of that. So, you know, really think about whose values are you creating? Well, because we were creating a business together, something that was greater than us, we've really worked on the values of the organization, and we got it down to 3 core values. Our number 1 core value was quality relationships. So we went through, we printed out a list of all of our customers that we had so far, and we went through and we knew, you know what a quality relationship feels like. You don't have to interrogate them. You know what your standards are for that value. So we went through and we took all the people that were quality relationship driven and we put them into a Premier League list. We then went through and we looked at who out of all of those have got our top 2 core values. So we then went through and said who's integrity driven as well. So we weeded them out. And then creativity was our 3rd core value for that business, because we were a design agency at that time. So we then went through and we said who out of all of these Premiership customers have all 3 of our values. And we actually worked out there were only 23% of our out of all of the customers we'd ever worked with that shared all 3 of our core values. We ended up, whenever those other people came to us for business, we transferred them to another design agency, and we just focused on that 23%. And I can tell you that our business quadrupled in as many months, because the people that we've been given all of our time and attention to were the people that didn't get it. They didn't resonate with us. They took longer to do what we needed to do. You know the ones. You've probably got people like that you've worked with. They don't value what you've done for them. You give them advice. They don't take it. Give me a thumbs up or a yes if that's ever happened to you. So we went through and we just really got aligned with our values, and business became so easy that I have never done business anyway ever since. It has always been based totally on values, and you'll know that, and it becomes non-negotiable. And also because your values are related also to your brand colors. So it's really freaking important that you get those values absolutely right, because there are colors that are attached to that. And then there are also shades of color for the personality of your ideal customers. I'm a color psychologist as part of what I do. So we get very clear on the values, and then we get very clear on the colors behind the brand, so that everything about you is just emanating the right messages non-verbally.
Yeah. And you know, what's so fascinating is once you get clear on the values for the business and who you want to be serving, it's so much easier. Because if you were to think about right now, and this is everybody, no matter what business you're in, that problem client that you have that sucks the life out of you, they're not in alignment with your values. That vendor that you're trying to do business with, that whatever, it all boils down to finding alignment with values. And it goes back to stepping out in faith that what we're sharing is really what works. Because we can hold on to our old ways of doing things. And the old ways of doing things, you know, they got you where you are. And, you know, there's value in that. The mistakes I made got me where I am today. But what I've learned is how much easier it can all be than how I thought it was. And it comes down to these principles. And when you get clear on your values and your brand and that positioning of where you stand, it feels like a dress that you just look so hot and sexy in, doesn't it? It feels like that. Once you get this, it's like, oh yeah, I got it. And then people they know the right ones come to you. So when I think about Jackie in real estate, this is so for you as well to really get clear. Who is my ideal client? How do I want them to be with me? Do I want somebody that texts me 12 times a day? Did you get the listing? No, that's not the kind of client I want, right? I've had those, right?
She's saying no, for sure, no.
So, and that actually brings us to step 3. So let's talk about step 3. And I refer to this third step as being in efficient action. And this is a phrase that's commonly used in the book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, is to take any action you take, let it be efficient action. And what we mean by that is the actions you take are actually ones that you're still carrying your intention and feeling good behind it, and you take action with purpose. Action that adds value. So when you sit down at your desk in the morning and you open your email, which is a big thorn in most people's sides, that you look at your email and say, wow, look at all the opportunities I have, and look at all the people I'm going to be able to add value to today. And you write that email with care for the human being on the other side. That you actually take efficient action when you're talking to your web designer, when you're negotiating that next contract, when whatever it is that you're doing. And all of this is about that statement I said a minute ago, this intention, the vision, the feelings, the value, the efficient action is about being in vibrational alignment with everything you wish to experience. So when you have a client that maybe is unhappy or wants to cancel, or you're trying to get them across the line, whatever that is, trying to get the deal done, when you carry your intention and your vision and you're feeling good about it, and you're being in what I call efficient action, that will happen because you're relaxed, because the music, how you're showing up and how you're feeling is a welcome place. I don't know about you, but I like being around positive, confident, happy people. That's who I like to do business with. So be that and have more customers want to be with you. Sammy?
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing is, you know, when we talk about value, we talked about value earlier when we were talking about you stepping away from being a commodity and being valued at the price that you're actually worth. Is the more you value others, the more they're going to value you. But you've got to value yourself first. And once you know what the value is that you have to offer, then just go out on an all-out, how can I serve in the biggest way possible? How can you add value to the lives of the people that you want to touch? How can you serve rather than sell? And ultimately, the more you serve, the more you're going to sell. So when you really switch that thinking and you start going out on an all-out service-driven, how can I add so much value to you that I'm the only person you find when you look for what you're looking for? That whenever you're talking to someone and they come up with this problem, that I'm the one who's rented a space in your head, that I've really delivered on the promises that I've made to you. And because of that, you're thinking, oh my God, you know, if this is what you deliver and you're doing this for free, I can't wait to work with you. So really come at it from that value-driven place. And, you know, so many people say to me, Sammy, you give away so much. Well, yes, I do. I give away a lot. But then I also am a fan of thinking, you know, I'm either going to charge for it or I'm going to give it away. I don't devalue what I have. That's a key thing is, you know, I know what I'm giving away for free and I know what I'm going to sell and I know how I'm going to serve that in between that gap. And that's really where you want to get clear is how much you add value to people's lives in a way that they just cannot wait to work with you and take that next step, because you'll be going, the more value you add, you'll go from conversation to conversion faster than you've ever done in your life before.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Good stuff there. Let's, so fun. So, we're
running out of time.
I know, I noticed that. So, and I did schedule this for a little bit more than an hour. So hopefully everybody can stay with us. And just so you know, we can only do so much in this time together today. We wanted to get your juices flowing in the right direction. Sammy is coming over from the UK. Yay!
I am. I can't wait.
And we've got a 3-day event lined up, January 5th and 6th. And on the bottom of the play sheet, we've got the information. I'll put it in the chat too. If you need to leave early for any reason, join us January 5th and 6th in Fort Lauderdale. And we're going to have 3 powerful days like this.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where we're actually going to get to talk about the visibility strategy, because although you see in the center of this circle is product, ultimately that's your product, that can be your service, that can be you, that can be your business. It's your message. How are you getting that visibility to your message in the biggest way that you can? And Nancy, if you could put it onto the next slide for me, because I wanted to share with you one of the biggest mistakes that I see many, many entrepreneurs making, and it's a mistake that I made early on in my business, is that when you're starting your visibility strategy, i.e., you've now got this vision for what you really want to do, for what you want to achieve, how you're going to add value to people's lives so much that they're going to add value to yours. How are you going to really build that? And what I found is there's really ultimately a 12-step process for making that happen. Now, the challenge is that so many people go into this without having the thought, how can I create as many brand ambassadors as I can? Because ultimately, and do give me a thumbs up or a yes, yes, yes in the chat box if you believe like I do that word of mouth marketing is one of the most powerful forms of marketing you do in your business. So give me a yes, yes, yes in the chat box.
We're getting yes, yes, yes in the chat box. Lots and lots and lots of it.
It's free. It's free. You have brand ambassadors coming out of your yin yang when you focus on service, when you focus on how much value, love it, you can get into people's lives, right? So if you focus on how can I create more brand ambassadors, it will lead to so much success for you, Nancy.
Well, and I just wanted to add in, that's how the greatest things build. When you hear about a great movie or a great restaurant, you had a great experience, you just start telling people. So with your business, that's what you want to create. Women's Prosperity Network, we get people coming in all the time. Oh, so-and-so told me about you, so-and-so. And I bet several of you are here because somebody else told me, somebody else recommended Women's Prosperity Network or Brand Builders. And that's why you're here. So part of your goal is to give so much value that that's how people are talking about you.
Absolutely. And, you know, and your brand is what other people say about you when you're not there. And if you don't take control of what people are saying about you, if you don't lead that, you're going to lose it. Right? And if you're not leading, you're not the only person that you wow, we've got a Concorde or something on the call.
Yeah, that's my lawn service. I'm going to mute for a minute.
So yeah, the big focus is to have those brand ambassadors, but here's what they do, and thank you, Nancy, for putting it on that next slide, because what people mostly do is they forget about, I'm going to build the reputation of the company, and instead you focus on, oh, I need a logo, I need a website, I need to create the content for that, I need a business card, oh, I need, and you go straight into the branding. But the problem with creating the branding is if you think about it like an iceberg, you only see only 15% of the iceberg is what you actually see above the water. 85% of that iceberg is actually underneath the water. But if you didn't have that 85%, the top would sink, right? It's exactly the same as your logo is responsible for only 15% of why someone buys from you. It's just recognition. Your brand is 85%. The reputation, what other people say about you when you're not there, that's what's responsible. Why people buy from you. That logo is just recognition that everything that's been said about you and everything that's credible about you stands. So you remove that brand, your branding is going to sink. So focus more on your brand than the branding, certainly at first. Now, the key thing is that most business owners I know, they don't even think about brand ambassadors. They just go straight to, how can I create my brand literature so I can drive people to it? And then it's usually wrong. And then they go, I've got to broadcast this, right? How do I broadcast it? Social media, let's get emails out there. Let's send some text marketing. Let's create some videos. And it all becomes very random. And that visibility strategy is never going to get you where you want to go. And as you can see, there are loads of points on this wheel that are not filled. Nancy, if you could go to that next slide for me. You can see that there are lots of mistakes. Sorry, if you go back one, that's it. Thank you. There are lots of mistakes you're making if you're just going straight from, I've got an idea, let's write about it and let's broadcast it. I know that I said earlier that perfection is poverty, but this is even bigger poverty because what you put out there, you can't take back. So if you're putting the wrong messages out there and you're attracting the wrong clients, if you're getting people that you don't want to do business with, if you're getting into conversations with people about money constantly, then there's some reevaluation that you need to do. And I would not advise you go out on an all-out visibility strategy until you get some of these other things in place. Oh yeah, right. So Nancy has said in there as well. Nancy, do you want to add anything to that?
No, you got it. It was beautiful. I was answering some questions in the chat. So I'm going to move to your next slide.
Okay. So really what it comes down to is making sure that you realize you are not alone as you go on this journey. And hopefully that's come across, is that some of the biggest lessons that Nancy and I have learned is that when you try and do something on your own, you'll get somewhere, but actually it's when you have that dream team around you, when you're building your dream with a team, that's when you're not the only person that's focusing on it. And as somebody said in here, well, I think it was Betsy said, what you focus on expands, and that's totally true. But imagine if you had brand ambassadors that were also focusing on your goal, it would expand dramatically.
Mhm.
So we want to invite you to come and play with us and be part of a team, and let us be the wind beneath your wings, because we want to give something back to you. So Nancy, do you want to go through your first two part of this event? Because we're running this as 3 days together.
This is a 3-day event, and we for the past several years, we've hosted this event called Level Up. It's a 2-day event, and we're revamping things this year because of evolution. You've all evolved, we've evolved, and we want to be able to serve you at that next level. So we're going to take you through a 7-step process that goes deeper into what we started with today, and you'll actually create strategic plans for your messaging, for your sales, and for your marketing. The other thing that happens in our community is you will then be in a room with 100 brand ambassadors. Because the beautiful thing that I love about Women's Prosperity Network and who shows up is the spirit of collaboration and co-opetition that everybody supports each other in. So it's time to stop being alone. You don't have to be alone, and you'll be in a community where people can trust each other and support each other. And Sammy and I do similar things, but we figure out a way to work together. And I say, oh my gosh, Sammy, you brought so much to the table. And you have this amazing day, this Brand Builders Intensive. So days 1 and 2, the 5th and the 6th, we're going to focus on your vision, creating that alignment with your life, what's your sales system going to look like, what's your marketing systems going to look like. Then we go into the Brand Builders Intensive to get even further specific on all of that for you. So talk about that 3rd day.
And really what's exciting about that, and why we have brought our skills together, is that the first 2 days really are about making sure you've got the right vehicle for what you're going to expand. Day 3 is about putting the fuel in. That's where we put the right fuel in, so that you're targeting the right customers at the right time and in the right ways. And it's a brilliant day. It's very interactive. It's a whole day of transformation. We've got 2 hot seats. We have 3 months of strategic visibility planning that we do on that day. So you're going to be doing planning on the first 2 days of how you're going to expand the brand. And on day 3, we're going to be planning your 3-month strategy for how you're going to be getting that out there. But we've got 4 international speakers that are going to be speaking that day. I'm bringing 2 other speakers over from the UK to be a part of this. And these, I mean, you need to know these guys. You need to know they are just phenomenal. They've traveled to every event I've delivered in the past 2 months with me. And that's what happens. My brand builders, they come around the world with me. They're on a mission to expand. They're on a mission to find out who you are, learn about your business, and see how internationally you can start to expand your brands. 5 networking sessions throughout the day. We've got 6 people on your table. So you're going to be in mastermind groups of 6 throughout that day. And we're going to go through 7 intensive strategies that you can then take and implement immediately. And then low cost and strategies.
I was just going to mention that on the 5th and 6th, we also mastermind. So again, we know what works for your success. So when Sammy and I talked about, and she's like, here's what I do with my brand builders. I'm like, here's what we do at Level Up, and they mastermind and they build with each other. I'm like, I know. Yes. So grab your ticket. The combo package for these two events we've put together. It's $297. And put the promo code GIFT, GIFT, in at checkout, and you'll save $100. We have a coupon, gratitude coupon that's running right now. And let's see here. Holly says, I couldn't be running my fabulous business without the fantastic energy and information I received over the last 2 years with Sammy. I highly recommend these events.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm also hearing, are we going to do this in the UK? And I'm guessing probably, yes.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely doing this in the UK. You know, we're going to be on the 14th. We're only doing the one day in the 14th, but Nancy and I are talking about how we can really expand. You know, we both have big visions for the thousands of lives that we want to touch. So we're grouping to work out how we can do that internationally. And also we want to reward you for taking action as well. There's some of you already on this call that are already coming to the event, so you've got these. Yes, Lilana, yes, that is possible. Yeah, so if you, Nancy, have you got a link for that? Do you want to post the link in there while I just take them through the next couple of slides? If you can't make it to the 7th, or you can't make it to the 5th and 6th, but you can come to the others, then yes, absolutely, you can. So what we've done is, for the action takers in the next 10 minutes, and I need to know who they are. The reason I need to know that is because there's something that I'm going to deliver, which is one-to-one as part of this, and I can't do it for everyone. So it's for the first action takers in the next 10 minutes. You're going to get over $870 of training for just $297. And like Nancy says, if you put that word gift when you get to the checkout, you'll get it for $197. So it's even $100 less even still. So could you move to the next slide, please, Nancy? Here are some of the bonuses you're going to get for taking action. So you're going to get a 3-hour live 7-step brand builders blueprint. This is where I've taken a key lesson from each of the 7 companies that I've built, and I'm sharing that in this 3-hour interactive strategy. So there's going to be stuff that I give you to do. You'll go away, you'll complete it, and you come back on the call. So it's a very strategic session, and it means that you're going to go out there and not make the mistakes that I've made in my business. There are some key things I really want you to learn so that you get it right first time. And this is why I need to know who are the action takers here, because you're going to get a 45-minute one-to-one strategy session with me personally. So I can look at what you're doing. You can talk to me about your business, whether you have one or not, and it's just an idea. I can then help you to expand that brand, get the idea right, and go, go, go. Or if you've got an established business and you want to know how to take it further, I'm going to commit my time to you to support you with that. So Nancy, can I have the next slide, please?
Yeah.
The other things that you're going to get are really super, super duper. So you're going to get to join in one of our live 5-day challenges. We call these 5-day sprints. I'm in the middle of running one right now. And this 5-day sprint started this morning, and we're working on how do you create those brand heartbeats and those touch points even when you're not there. And the idea of running that this week is you're going to take time off over Christmas and you're going to disappear. And then people are going to forget about you. Your competitors are going to come along and they are going to be visible and you're not. And it's them, even though they're nowhere near as good as you, it's them that are going to get the business because they've been visible and you haven't. So this week we're putting in place touch points and heartbeats that mean you can take time off over Christmas, and you've systemized some of that process that enables you to take a break, knowing you're still serving people while you're having a break. So we're doing that every single day. We're doing something. And you saw we were going through that 12-point system, the circular system I showed earlier, where you needed to fill the blanks in. Tomorrow, I'm delivering a 90-minute masterclass that's going to talk through every single one of those things. So even if you can't make it live, you'll get the replay from that, and you'll get all of the training that talks you behind that 12-step process. You're also going to get the signed workbook from me as well, which I designed. It's got 50 activities in there that you can implement immediately. And Nancy, the final slide, please. So there's more. There is more, because I really do believe in adding value, right? You've got to practice what you preach and put your money where your mouth is. So finally, I'm going to give you, and the slide will come up here. Is it coming up? Have you moved it on? I don't know if it's catching up and we've got this like matrix type delay. Is the slide moving?
I think so. It should say special bonus for action takers.
No, it's the slide after this one. That special bonus one is the last one. There's one in the middle of this. Anyway, I'll tell you what it is. It's 30 days access to my Brand Builders Club group. This is an international group. It's globally. We've got people from all over the world that are interacting, networking, giving people advice. It's a global mastermind. And that's where I'm running this sprint. So I run 2 5-day sprints a month. We did one with Nancy a few weeks ago. We do master classes. We do all kinds of things in that group. And so by taking action now, you'll get a chance to not only come to that 90-minute masterclass, but I'll add you into the group tonight and we'll get you entered in there. Let me just put, I'll just put in the messages here. For those of you that are taking action, you need to go to this link.
I think I just gave them the link if they need to just come level up. Okay. Yep, it's in there. Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, if you go to facebook.com groups/Brand Builders Club, or just type in Brand Builders Club in Facebook, you'll find the Facebook group. So once you've paid, make sure you go to that group and get access to that, because I can get you going straight away and you can catch up on the work that we've done in there this morning. So Nancy's put that link up there for you. I'm so honoured that you came and played with us today. And I really look forward to this next step of your journey. I can't wait to meet you. Make sure you got a hug waiting for me at whatever event it is that we eventually meet at. And Nancy, I'm handing back over to you, my gorgeous one.
Ah, thank you, beautiful. And we still got some people in the chat. Yes, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. So take action on this 3-step process we shared today. And let's go deeper with this, because the desire in my heart, and I know in Sammy's as well, is for you to be able to create the 2018 you really would love. Struggle-free, wealth-driven, value-driven, like what do you love? And it happens by staying in these conversations, by clearing this from the chatter, from focusing on what's not working to what is working. And here's what I know. If you are here, and especially if you're still here since we're running late, you are someone who really wants to bring lots of value to your own life, to the lives of people around you. And we are here to support that at the highest level. So I hope that we'll get to see you. Yes, we go big hearts. We'll see you January 5th and 6th and 7th in Fort Lauderdale, Deerfield Beach, actually. So it was great to be here. Cannot wait to see you.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm going to be coming over actually to Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to be coming over on the 2nd, I think. So our flights are already booked. My husband's going to be coming with me as well.
I get to meet Greg.
You get to meet Greg finally.
I love it.
Actually, he does exist.
He's with a different woman there.
Yes.
Too funny.
I don't know why.
Is that you? Your hair was dark.
It is me. I don't know if you can see that.
Of course it's you.
That was the same day that we went and did the whole roller coaster thing with Bob and Lynn.
Ah, very cool, very cool.
Snuck us into the BAFTAs after show party, which is
I
why
love
we were
it.
dressed.
All right, well, I'm going to unmute everybody, and we'll say goodbye. Let me see if I can unmute everybody, and hopefully it won't be too loud. All right.